Liverpool suffered their second defeat of the season. And after a loss like that, there's obviously a lot of commotion on social media of where it went wrong, what we need to change. Some of these players aren't good enough. But we're going to take a look at some of the situations because I don't think it is as bad as people make out, but there is some warning signs that we probably should be looking at for maybe next season, because obviously this team is a team that has done very well this season, but next season is going to be a different kettle of fish. Teams are going to get stronger and Liverpool need to be ready for that. If you're new to the channel, make sure to drop a like, comment, let me know your thoughts. Did Liverpool deserve to lose? Was it a lack of just game management from their part, or was it that Fulham were just that good? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So I suppose the first thing we should say is it wasn't all doom and gloom. And I want to talk about this man here, Alexis McAllister. He's someone in this Liverpool team that just continues to go about his business and put in 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 10 performances. And I think yesterday he obviously did really well, got his goal. And it's something that I think in this Liverpool team, we don't really get to see too much of. A player that obviously picks the ball up, drives, and then hits one in from range. A lot of Liverpool's build-up is slow, it's methodical. They get to the byline, and then it's usually like a cross into the box, and then someone taps home. That's usually the way Liverpool play. But it's really good to see. I think Alexis McAllister is someone that has that in his locker and something that we want to see more of. I think Szoboszlai is the same. And I want to shift it on a little bit to what McAllister said post-match, because I think sometimes we get a little bit carried away. We know that if we had won yesterday, it would have been a 14-point gap. And losing for only the second time this season in the grand scheme of things in the Premier League, obviously, it's not the end of the world. I think you learn a lot more from your losses than you do from when you win games. And I think Liverpool would have learned a lot from that match yesterday. So McAllister after the game said, I think in the first half, we had 25 or 30 minutes where we couldn't find ourselves. We made a lot of mistakes that we normally don't do. That is why we lost this game. They scored 3 goals. We got punished. And after it was really hard to come back. When you get to this stage of the tournament, every mistake you do is hard and you get punished. I'm pretty sure that we have a team where we have a lot of players with experience. Today wasn't a good experience, but I'm pretty sure we will come back stronger, and in the next game we will show what we can do. And it brings me on nicely to my next point around Liverpool this season. The reason Liverpool are where they are is because of the likes of Van Dijk, Alisson, the players that have been there before and have got them over the line. And then they have the legs of, say, McAllister, Birch, Diaz, Gakpo, who've performed to a really high level. But yesterday, it was the experience that let us down. And we'll come into some of the statistics about it from what Squawk has said and where it actually went wrong for Liverpool. Because obviously we can look at, say, the mistakes in general. There was obviously 3 mistakes for the goal, and that's what cost us. But there were some underlying things about that, which obviously it's something that you don't usually see from Liverpool's defence in particular. So obviously Muniz had a really good game against Van Dijk and Konate. And I think even from the 10th minute when Konate made that mistake, Liverpool were probably maybe could have gave away a penalty. I didn't think it was. I thought it might have been a little bit soft. But from that moment on, Liverpool just looked shaky at the back continuously. And this is just some of the statistics that we've seen. Virgil van Dijk won 40% of his duels against Fulham, his lowest in a Premier League game again for Liverpool when contesting 10 or more. Konate only did slightly better, winning 5 out of 10 as both centre-backs struggled to deal with Rodrigo Muniz. Yeah, Muniz was unbelievable. I thought his goal, Van Dijk definitely should have done better. I think he probably got under the ball too much. Muniz was able to use his body. It took a lovely touch and it was a great finish. But very rare do we see Van Dijk get done like that. And I just thought the experience that we usually have relied on a lot this season, I just think they were probably a little bit lacking concentration, and that obviously cost us. Now, obviously, it's easy for us here to criticise the players and say Van Dijk wasn't good enough, Konate wasn't good enough, Robertson wasn't good enough. And I think on the day, they would even admit it wasn't their best performance. But I think it's something going into next season that we have to be careful of, because you think about Van Dijk, I think over the course of the season, his experience has been unbelievable. I think Robertson is someone that you probably would be looking to identify. And I think those mistakes are something that might happen more and more as they obviously get a little bit older. And I think that's when you need fresh blood coming into the team. I think this season is probably going to be one of Liverpool's biggest transfer windows in recent memory, especially obviously with Michael Edwards back and his kind of slots obviously been able to look at this team and learn maybe what he needs more out of these players, because this season, they've been unbelievable for the most part, but I think there's definitely areas that it can improve. I think we probably need another midfielder to come from Gravenberch, who's looked a little bit leggy coming to the end of the season. I think Robertson has had a bit of an up and down season. He's performed better over the last few months, but definitely nowhere near his best, and I think he'll only get progressively worse just because of his age. There's nothing wrong with him, but he's been unbelievable for Liverpool. And I think that game against Fulham did give us a little bit of insight into maybe where Liverpool can look to improve. Just tired coming to the end of the season. They've obviously put a lot and front loaded it to the start of the season. And I think moving into next season, I think Slot will obviously be able to say, okay, this is what I need to improve on, and for us to be competitive for future Premier League seasons. So let me know your thoughts. Did you think Liverpool weren't good enough? Was it just the mistakes? Do you think their all-round game wasn't good enough? I think in the second half, they definitely showed a lot more impetus when they were going forward. And just to highlight that, when Liverpool were going forward in the second half, you can see the momentum that they had should have probably converted a lot more goals. I think Jota had a chance at the very start of the first half. Salah obviously missed that one where he hit it over the bar. Chiesa had a couple of half chances at the end of the season. Elliott hit the crossbar. So I think Liverpool did probably do enough to get a draw in the end. But obviously, when you concede 3 goals, sloppy goals in the way that they did, then you're always trying to fight. And that's what McAllister said at the start. So it was disappointing, obviously, how we conceded goals. I think there's obviously we can rectify that pretty soon. West Ham next, then Leicester, then Spurs. You could have the season wrapped up in a very, very short space of time. So it's not all the doom and gloom that we should be talking about. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to drop a follow, like, subscribe. I do appreciate all the support. We are growing the channel very, very quickly, and I'm very happy to do it with all of you. So I'll chat to you all in the next one. Cheers, guys.